If you are looking for a mobile wallet to hold and access your crypto, you need to go to argent.xyz and download their smart contract wallet app right onto your Android or iOS device. Argent is the most secure way to hold money on your device while still being able to access DeFi services that we all know and love on Ethereum. Through Argent, you have one-tap access to the beloved DeFi apps like Compound, Uniswap, Aave, and you can even invest directly into some yield-generating assets right from your Argent wallet. Crucial to maintaining security over your assets is Argent's Guardian service, which allows you to use a friend to make sure that you can always restore access to your funds in case you were to ever lose your phone or for your device to break. You can also use a local hardware wallet to ensure that you can always restore access to your funds yourself. One of Argent's newest features is their ability to route trades through 10 decentralized exchanges, including Uniswap and Kyber, to make sure that you are always getting the best trade on your assets. Similarly, pushing the fold on what we can do in Ethereum and DeFi, Argent has replicated some of the legacy financial services that you would expect from your bank, but put it directly into the hands of the user, such as send limits and whitelisted accounts, ensuring that if anyone were to be able to access your funds in your Argent wallet, they could only send up to a certain amount and only be able to send them to approved addresses, which is creating one of the most safe environments to hold your assets in, which is why people have put millions and millions of dollars into the Argent wallet that they use on their device. In order to see the Argent wallet in action, go to argent.link/bankless and download the Argent wallet on iOS or Android today. We're also brought to you by MONOLITH. MONOLITH is your cool new DeFi account, your DeFi savings account, your DeFi checking account. Except the cool thing about the MONOLITH DeFi account is that it gets software updates, right? You actually get to increase the usefulness of this over time. So here are some of the features. MONOLITH is a smart contract wallet with a lot of the features that you would expect if you've come to know DeFi and what it is. You can add money to it. You can put that money to work in Compound and accessing yield. But you can also swap through Uniswap. What was cool with MONOLITH is that they will send you a very sexy MONOLITH Visa card that connects to your MONOLITH smart contract wallet on Ethereum. So it's a really awesome tool to live a bankless life with a savings account that gets software updates. So this is something that you're never gonna find out in the real world, but you can still do real world things with real money, like buy your groceries. So that's just fantastic. Coming soon to MONOLITH, actually already here to MONOLITH, is now you can buy DAI and get it sent to your wallet directly, right? So it's also being an on-ramp. So you don't have to go through your centralized exchange like Coinbase or Gemini or wherever. You can just go straight from your bank account right into your MONOLITH checking account smart contract wallet. So check them out at monolith.xyz. I know you got some thoughts, Ryan, that you put down on paper, and so I want to hear them coming out of your mouth today. So let's get into it.
Well, like at the risk of getting a little ranty here, and I don't want to get ranty, I was just thinking over the weekend, David, about some lessons I've learned on the journey. Like, so I've been in the space about 6 years, so not like super long.
That's
I wasn't
long.
There at Bitcoin Genesis. Yeah, so, and I picked up a few things just from watching mistakes that I've made and being like, oh, that's how that works. I shouldn't do that again.
Right.
But also like watching mistakes that other people have made.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people flame out. I've seen people quit crypto. I've seen people totally lose it and exit the space prematurely. And so I just offered 7 lessons for crypto pioneers in the market Monday post. You want to go through these?
Yeah, absolutely. People like lists. So
lists are fun.
Let's go to number 1.
All right. So crypto natives, crypto pioneers, we are definitely, as Chris Berninsky said in the podcast we did with him, exploring the infinite white space of this new digital country, but we're also bearing the brunt of danger here. And so here are the 7 things I just want to convey to folks going on this journey. The first is this: crypto is in price discovery mode for the next decade at least. Price discovery mode for the next decade at least. You know what this means to me, David, is there's no rush.
Yeah.
Like the ups and downs that we see on a daily basis and the crazy volatility, and China slams the door, or there's some hack on an exchange, or there's some DeFi contract hack, or there's some extremely bullish news. It's all noise, guys.
Mm-hmm.
The market is figuring this space out. The price is in discovery mode. This is going to take decades. You're early. Expect the market to be irrational. This is going to take years to figure out. And it's going to take years for the market to figure out even the things that you already know now.
Mm-hmm.
So just be at peace with that. Just have a long-term orientation. That to me is the most healthy thing that you can do as you're thinking about getting started in crypto.
Yeah, I totally agree. And crypto moves so fast, so it's hard to keep a macro perspective when there's so many, every single week there's something micro to pay attention to. Like, PayPal, integrated Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin pumped 10%. But then you are paying attention in a very narrow way to what's going on. One of my favorite perspectives to take is, and I can't remember who said this, but it was probably in the middle of 2018, 2019 bear market. I think it was Eric Voorhees who said this. Bitcoin isn't in a 1 to 2 year bear market. It's in a 10-year long bull market.
Yes.
Right? That is the right perspective. Right. And the one thing I try and tell people who are, normies who are trying to get their head wrapped around, cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and Ethereum is they say oh, isn't it super volatile? And Bitcoin goes up 20,000% and then it crashes. And I give them the metaphor that think of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies as a plant, right? And it grows out of the ground, and you have this little sapling plant that's 6 inches tall, and then next year you come back and it's 4 feet tall. It just grew 20,000%. I don't know. Insert the right math here. So when people see that, they're not used to those numbers showing up on the stock market, right? Stock markets, assets on the stock market don't go 20,000%, but VC funds, they are used to those numbers because they were able to get in before everyone else, right? And so the whole Bitcoin moved or Ethereum moved 500% in a year. That's just numbers that we're not used to, but the world itself, the universe is used to those numbers, and we are in the middle of the universe figuring out how to price these things. I totally agree.
Totally agree. And sometimes you got to trip out your psychology a little bit, right? Because humans aren't meant to deal with this level of volatility. Right. But, we do it to ourselves when we go and check our Blockfolio 10 times a day, right? I know people, we're right? I know people in crypto who to gain perspective, you're having trouble with this, stop checking price.
Yep.
I mean, you could check price quarterly. This is that would be enough if it's true that we're in price discovery mode for the next decades. So anyway, perspective on that. The second, you ready for the second?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. I have never seen a patient investor lose money in crypto. Never. If you're patient, you won't lose money. If you buy and you hold, you don't lose money over the long term. I tweeted something like this out on Saturday and someone responded, but what about the guy that bought EOS, or the guy that put all money into, I don't know, some other coin? I'm just the fact that you went and looked for another Ethereum or another Bitcoin or another short-term project shows that you weren't patient, that you saw somebody else getting rich, you had FOMO, and you did a bad thing. Patient investors don't lose money in the space. How easy is that? It's almost foolproof. Just
it's really hard. Actually.
Buy.
It's hard to see.
I know it's hard. It's hard, but it's hard. It's difficult, but it's simple. Buy, and if your time horizon is 5 to 10 years, it'll work out. You'll be fine if you're not buying short-term stupid assets, right?
Yep. Yesterday we saw the stock market pump on vaccine news. It did something insane, 10 to 15%, and then we saw crypto sell. We had a sell-off because people went into stocks. Right?
Yeah.
And so there's two market participants. There's people at the base foundational level who are patient, who are never selling, who have their theses and have placed their bets. And then there's the people on top of those people that, FOMO into something every 24 hours, right? Yep. And those are the people making the market movements, like the daily plus 5%, minus 5%. But it's the bottom substrate, the foundation, that really is the reason why we are in a 10-year bull market, right? And so be part of that cohort that doesn't FOMO, right? Just place your bets and sit on your hands.
Crypto is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Warren Buffett said the same about stocks. It's also true for crypto. Some of this is just good personal finance advice, guys, but it applies in a different way in crypto. All right, you ready for number 3?
Let's do it.
Okay, this might be some tough love for you guys.
Yep.
95% of you listening right now should stop trading and just hold. You should stop trading because you're losing money relative to holding. 95% of you are not good traders, not great traders. And you don't have to be to do 10Xs in crypto. You can just hold. If you don't want to spend hours a day developing your trading skills and competing at that level with like the SBFs of the world and our friends at Three Arrow Capital, like the desks that are doing this 24 hours a day and spending 80 plus hours a week on it, like just don't. You don't even have to be in that game.
They are better than you. Full stop.
It's like, it's right. It's like everybody thinks they're going to be in the NBA, right? And like to get in the NBA, first of all, you have to have a certain like natural born talent and like physique and athletic ability. And then you have to work really hard. 95% of you shouldn't be playing that game at all. You should just hold.
I would add one corollary onto this. Like sometimes, you know, people go to the casino even though they basically more or less intend on losing money. Like the casino's still fun. So like if you are finding yourself compelled to do that, separate your stack into two separate stacks, heavily weight one stack to be your hold stack, and then allocate like 2 to 5%, some low number just to get your like gambling itched, right? Just to do it, just to say you did, and then you can leave your hold stack. If you can't, you know, control yourself, moderate yourself.
I totally agree with that. And that is a sensible strategy, David. All right. Number 4, I am responsible for everything that happens to me in crypto. Repeat that to yourself. I am responsible for everything that happens to me in crypto. Not somebody on Twitter, not the builder who built the smart contract, not the dude whose newsletter I read, not the person whose YouTube I subscribe to, or the token that promised me the moon. I am responsible. That is an attitude that I have tried to uphold for myself in crypto because that is a growth attitude. You have to take accountability for the decisions that you make in crypto. You can't blame other people. It's not helpful to your progress as a crypto investor to do that. But David, I see it a lot. And whenever I see it, I see a mark of immaturity. And like people, when I've said this before, people say things like, well, you're just letting, you know, scammers off the hook. Like, no, I'm not. Both of these things can be true. I mean, I totally reject scammers and people who are trying to take other people's money or, you know, hack and steal. But for you, as an investor, the best advice is to take accountability and responsibility for the decisions that you make in crypto. That is how you'll get better.
Yeah, these systems treat users as admins. Like everyone who has an Ethereum wallet, that Ethereum wallet treats them as admin. As in, no, that the Ethereum wallet's not going to do anything that you explicitly didn't say yourself. That's why we are a self-sovereign industry. That's some of the core values of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bankless. Like you have complete control over your assets, which means that if you lose your assets, you did something. Like you probably violated rules 1 through 3 in some particular way. Right.
Yes.
And, you know, I think that's really, you don't get like empowerment and self-sovereign finance without also being responsible for your actions. Right.
Yep. Or you see some crypto influencer tweet about something, some token you absolutely have to buy. And you go buy that. Right.
Quote unquote.
That's on you.
Into a token.
That's on you.
Yeah,
I mean, should the crypto influencer do that? No, that's a separate thing. But the fact that you are jumping into a position that you don't know anything about, like, would you jump into an empty pool? Like, I mean, look down, look at what you're doing before you go and do it. I think that's what we're saying here. All right.
Absolutely.
Number 5, you ready? Own more crypto than the financial experts recommend, and doubly so if you're young.
Ooh, some prescriptive advice, huh? All right. Why
Look,
this?
Let me say, none of this is financial advice. As always, risks and disclaimers.
Also, see number 4.
Right. But I think that the traditional financial experts, people with CFAs, people who are financial advisors, they are selling typewriters in the age of the PC, right? Mm-hmm. They don't understand this asset class and therefore can't give you good advice on this asset class. So even the ones that are semi-pro crypto, they'll be like, yeah, you should take 1% of your portfolio and gamble with it. Mm-hmm. That's not enough.
Right.
I mean, I get like 1%. Okay. Depends what your portfolio looks like. Depends what age you are. Depends on your risk tolerance. Mm-hmm. All these things. I get that. But in general, I think the financial experts aren't going to weight you as high as you probably should be in crypto. And I think this is most important if you're young, like the 1% to 3%. Mm-hmm. If you're young, is that all you want of your net worth exposure into crypto? It's not all I want.
Where's the other 97%? what are you doing with that?
You're buying boomer stuff.
Boomer stocks. Right? Yeah, you're getting dumped on by the boomers.
So I'm not going to prescribe a certain amount for you. It's like, but it's probably more than your financial experts, the guy at your brokerage is going to recommend to you.
Absolutely. And if you want to live a bankless life, you need to get a hardware wallet. There is no alternative for storing your crypto in a self-sovereign fashion. That's why I have 4 ledgers that I use to manage my different crypto assets using the Ledger Live account as well. Ledger Live is like your home base for managing your Ethereum, DeFi, and crypto accounts. It does a really good job of aggregating all of your different Ethereum wallets if you are the type of person that uses more than one, but you can also add other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Cosmos or whatever your preferred blockchain is. And then it will display an aggregate portfolio of all your accounts at the main page. One thing that Ledger is doing a really good job of is enabling all of the money verbs that me and Ryan talked about with the Bankless Skill Cube enabled in the Ledger Live app. So right now in the Ledger Live app, you can buy, sell, lend, swap, and stake your crypto assets, which is doing a really good job of fulfilling all of the money verbs in the Bankless Skill Cube. Something that's new to Ledger Live is Ledger Swap, where you can swap assets one for another directly inside the Ledger Live application, ensuring trustlessness in your financial activity on Ethereum and on Bitcoin. If you want to learn more about what you can do with a ledger, go to the blog post, The Power of Ledger Live on the Ledger website, where they share some of the more advanced things that you can do with your ledger that you might not have known about. There's a link in the show notes that will take you to the Ledger shop where you can get your preferred Ledger hardware wallets. I personally like the Ledger Nano X, but I also have both. They're both great options. When you own a ledger, you own your own assets in the way that they have been designed to be held by the user and the user alone. So go get your ledger today to make sure that you are as self-sovereign as possible. The Bankless State of the Nations are brought to you by YEARN. YEARN is DeFi's first self-building community-run project, which I just get really, really excited about. YEARN is a system that seeks out yield in DeFi, and it does that in a number of different ways. A very aggressive way is with the vaults, where you can deposit your preferred asset of choice, and different DeFi experts will come in and generate a strategy for what to do with your deposited token, right? And so it'll go find ways to get yield in that deposited token in DeFi. For those who want to just earn yield on their stablecoins, the Earn system is for you, where you can deposit your preferred stablecoin and YEARN will go and figure out which money market on DeFi in DeFi is producing the best interest rate, whether it's DYDX, it's Compound, or Aave. It looks around DeFi to see where the yield is coming from, and it directs stablecoins automatically so you don't have to. Check them out at yearn.finance to get started, and also check out the stats page to see what other people are doing as well. And so Anthony Pompliano is a big fan of the phrase like get off zero, right? Like he's going on the crusade of trying to encourage funds to just put 1% in, just put a 0.5% in. And like part of the reason why that number is so low is because like you need a number to convince people, right? And so like if you say like you need to put 15% of your portfolio into Bitcoin, well, to the funds that people are talking to when they say these numbers, 15% of their portfolio is like $500 million, right? Or it could be. And so like in order to maintain legitimacy, you as somebody who's going off and pounding like put 1% into crypto, you need to have a low number, because any other number other than that seems crazy. But if you are the type of person who's like Anthony Pompliano, who's saying like go put 1% into crypto, Anthony Pompliano has way more than 1% of his.
It's over 50%.
It's definitely over 50%.
He said it. I've heard him say it.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So do see what people's actions are, not what they're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, he is talking mainly to like funds and large pensions institutions on that one. So, all right, this number 6 is a little spicy. David, you ready?
Yeah, love it.
All right. Don't take crypto advice from someone who's never used Uniswap.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a great one.
I just think there are a lot of like crypto experts, VCs, pundits, thought leaders who talk the talk, but don't actually use crypto. Like if you haven't used Uniswap, if you haven't taken out a maker loan, you don't know what that is. If you haven't used DeFi, how can you possibly have a strong opinion on Ethereum or DeFi? That does not compute to me. Right. You have to use this stuff in order to be knowledgeable and to provide advice about it. So this is a heuristic. It could change over time, of course. But like right now, if somebody is talking smack about Ethereum or DeFi or all this stuff saying it never works and they've never used Uniswap, I call bullshit, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things that you can only be bearish on DeFi if you haven't tried it, right? And I think the reason why you use Uniswap is because it's kind of like the nexus of all the other apps. Like if you're going from Aave to Compound, you might have gone through Uniswap in order to do that because for whatever reason, right? And so as a litmus test is you almost can't use Ethereum without using Uniswap at some point in time. So like it's almost to say like if you haven't used Uniswap, you almost haven't used DeFi itself. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, what does Uniswap require? Well, it requires like you to self-custody your private keys, right? So that's something, you to get familiar with a DeFi wallet like MetaMask, and you to make a trade. That's it. And if you haven't completed those checks, you don't have a valid opinion to me on DeFi. Yep. All right. Number 7. This is something Naval says a lot. Surround yourself with long-term people playing long-term games. Yep. I think this is so important. And I'm not just talking about people here as individuals, though that is also true. It's communities, it's projects, it's also individuals. But like those people who are playing long-term games, draw those close because there's a lot of folks in crypto who are playing short-term games that you don't want to be around. And they'll all say they're playing a long-term game. So you got to watch their actions, not their words on this. But if you are surrounding yourself with people who, I would say from an investor perspective, I think somebody like Chris Berensky, like that's a dude who's playing a long-term game. Like he's reputation oriented. He knows he's going to be in this space for 10 years. He's even constructed his entire VC fund to be that, not a hedge fund trader. There's like no exit, right? Unless his LPs are successful. That's somebody who's playing a long-term game. I think of like Vitalik and some of the design decisions that Ethereum has made as a project, right? They could have scaled much faster by taking shortcuts. They're going through this like long, arduous process of sharding and proof of stake because they think that they want to preserve decentralization and the neutrality of the network, right? That's another person who's playing a long-term game. If you surround yourself with those types of people and those types of projects, and you yourself are a long-term player and keep your reputation intact as your strongest, as your most valuable asset, you will do very well in this space over the long run. That's what I've seen of everyone who's doing it.
Yeah, man, I have so much to say about this, and I can't remember. It was a book I was reading where the author was illustrating the father at a kid's soccer game, and you have one father who is like yelling at his kid, "Score, score, score! You know, do whatever you need to do," and then another father is like, you know, have fun, right? Because there's two rules here. Like, you can either play to win, or you can play to get invited back the next time. Right.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's
totally.
What you are. So as an individual who is learning how to engage with others and be friends with others, the goal is to not win. The goal is to get invited to play second time. And this is also true with trading, right? Like if you just do decide to trade, like the goal is to always be able to play the game. Like don't ever position yourself that gets you cut out of the game. And this is something I tweeted out not too long ago where I said, like, you know, there are theses in crypto that are pretty decently defined. And I think we've defined like the Bankless thesis and the protocol sync thesis and the ETH, the triple point asset thesis. And we haven't swayed from that, Ryan. Like, and I'm pretty proud of what we've done here at Bankless. If any listener knows of a time that we've pivoted from one of our theses, let me know. But I think that we have been on beating the same drum ever since this podcast started, ever since this YouTube channel started, ever since you started the newsletter. We haven't pivoted, right? And there's a bunch of other people in the ecosystem that just have not pivoted from what they think this crypto industry is about. Anthony Cesano is one of them, DC Investor, anti-prosynthesis. As many Bitcoiners hate that guy, he has been beating the same drum over and over and over again. So you should surround yourself with people that don't change up what they're saying based on the times of the day. And I didn't want to bring this up when we got into the State of the Nation today, but I recently tweeted out, if your cryptocurrency project has an army of green frogs behind it, you should probably rethink your strategy. And because we need people that are playing long-term games. And so you need real people behind your network, right? You need a real community of real humans, not just an army of green frogs. So absolutely, I'm totally aligned with this one. Play long-term games.
Yeah, I think what you're alluding to there, and I know you got Twitter mobbed about it, but I think what you're alluding to, what you're alluding to though is reputation.
Yep.
Is one of the most important long-term games that we as human play, right? And I think there is insane amounts of value in creating sort of a pseudo-anonymous account, some sort of reputation behind it, and you can accrue that over the time. At the same time, right? By putting your name out there, and by that is your reputation. That's your skin in the game. That's some stake, and that counts for something too.
Yep.
So regardless, guys, those are the 7 thoughts for crypto pioneers. If you're on the journey, crypto is in price discovery mode for the next decade at least. Be patient, because if you are, I've never seen a patient investor lose money in crypto. Probably, if you're listening to this, you should stop trading and just hold. Remember that you as an individual are responsible for what happens to you in crypto. Don't blame others. That is the key to growth, accountability. Own more crypto than the financial experts recommend. Don't take crypto advice from someone who's never used Uniswap. And then lastly, surround yourself with long-term people playing long-term games. That's it. Ryan,
I'm seeing the YouTube comments. Give a big fat thumbs up to your list. So nice job.
All right, cool. Well, good. We made YouTubers happy. Yeah. Green frogs don't like us, but YouTubers are happy. We'll take that as a win. All right, David, with that, we should probably sign off. We've covered a lot of territory today. We'll probably chop this into some smaller videos for your viewing pleasure. It's been fantastic to be with you guys. Risks and disclaimers, of course. ETH is risky. So is the internet bond that we talked about today. So is Bitcoin. All DeFi protocols are as well. But this is the frontier. We're glad that you're with us on the journey. Thanks for joining us. This has been State of the Nation. What number, David?
22.
All right.
Bonding.
Lot,
we're bonding as a community.
We're bonding.
Because we're playing long-term games and we're doing it together.
Happy bonding, guys.